So I just got back from vegan Campout, and I guess I just kind of wanted to do a quick video kind of like on, I don't necessarily know what I learned, but like what I'm going to take away from this. So for me, Campout is kind of just like as a weekend when I can kind of go away and let my hair down around like other compassionate people, which I spend a lot of time doing activism and things, and I don't really do things or go away that often for kind of my own benefit. So it's just really nice to be able to go away and relax around those kinds of people, and enjoy good food and enjoy a good time. But it's also a good time to kind of improve upon my activism and other aspects of veganism. So they have like a vegan boot camp and stuff there. So what have I kind of taken away from it this year? I guess I feel like the most important one for me was this morning I watched, I was there on a talk about the Liberation Pledge, and it's been something that I've been considering doing for a while, and listening to the way that we can implement that into our lives and how to discuss with people taking the Liberation Pledge. If you're not sure what the Liberation Pledge is, it's basically where you basically publicly announce to the people around you through social media and also through talking one-on-one with people that you will not sit with them while they eat animal products. There's kind of like two levels to this. It can either be so you won't sit with them while they're not eating vegan or while they're not eating veggie. For me personally, because my entire family eat meat and none of them really care as such about animals or the environment or anything, so for me personally, I would choose to implement it on a level where I would ask people to eat vegetarian around me, because to start with I feel like that's enough of an impact having that discussion with them, and I feel like that's going to be hard enough to begin with. Who knows, maybe I will then go on to only sitting with people who are eating vegan, but for a start I'm going to I'd like to start implementing the Liberation Pledge into my life so that I only sit with people while they're at least eating veggie, because at the moment when I go out with people, unless I go out with vegan friends, even like my normal friends from sixth form and stuff, they all eat meat and everything. So even just to be able to go and sit with people while they're eating veggie would be such a relief, because it's quite painful to sit with people, especially this. And I feel like the second biggest impact this has had on me is I sat and I watched Dominion for the first time with my friend, who she's never seen watched anything. She's vegan already, and she does like bits of activism here and there, and she's never really watched anything like that. So she came and watched it with me, and I feel like I've seen so much of this stuff now, and it's just so heartbreaking every time. And after I do Save Movement and stuff and standing outside slaughterhouses, and for me that is kind of what really has pushed me to want to kind of start to implement the Liberation Pledge, and start to take the pledge so I'm going to kind of take it slowly, and I'm going to start by possibly introducing it when I'm with my friends, then I'm going to introduce it to my family, and then kind of so that I don't do it all at once, but I'm going to slowly bring it into my life. I feel like it's going to be a really effective form of activism as well, because I'll be able to explain to people in a positive way why I'm not going to sit with people while they eat meat, and I'm not going to make it sound like a really negative thing. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm not sitting with you because you're eating dead animals. It's going to be more kind of like, I can't do this because it physically hurts me to sit with people while they eat these animals because of what I do and the activism I do. And I will explain to people, like, if you want, I can make food with you, or if you want, I can choose somewhere, we can go somewhere, or if not, I can choose I can not eat, or I can remove myself from the situation. And I'm hoping that this will be met with some sort of positivity, which is what I learnt from this talk this morning. I can't remember who did the talk, but it was really insightful. So I feel like those two things were something I've really brought away from Campout. I feel like I see a lot of online people kind of bashing the whole Campout thing, like, oh, wouldn't it be great if everyone who went there got involved in activism, like there's 5,000 people there. Well, the reality is, like, personally, everyone I know who went this year are activists, and they go to let their hair down. That's what they do. We are allowed to do that. And yeah, I could understand the money that we spend on going there, we could give it to a sanctuary, but in reality I think most of us do. Like, I personally do donate I have a Patreon set up to donate to a charity every month, an animal rights one, and a sanctuary, 2 separate ones. And, you know, I kind of limit myself to what I'm going to spend at these things anyway, but it's good to support vegan food vendors as well. And I think it's really, really good for new vegans, and there was non-vegans there as well, so it's really good for encouraging non-vegans into veganism, and it's really good for new vegans or like vegans just who have been doing it for a long time but aren't activists. It's a really good way of encouraging them to become activists. It's a really good way for them to learn how to be a successful activist, and it's a really good way of encouraging people and showing like you're not that different. Basically, you're there with 5,000 people and you're sitting in a room, you know, listening to people talk about like the SAVE movement or like direct action or like other forms of activism, and it's a really positive way of helping people understand why activism is so important and helping them understand why it's good to do activism. So I think it's always a really good experience going to Campout and doing these things. I'm going to have a look at the lineup next year, but I most definitely probably will be going. And the year before I went with my boyfriend, he's vegetarian, but he eats vegan when he's with me. So I went with him, and then this year I went with my best friend who is vegan and her boyfriend is vegan, but he didn't come. But so for next year I'm going to kind of try and widen that circle. I'm going to try and invite like people who are either vegetarian or kind of like vegan or activists, so that I can kind of like even spread those messages even further, like by doing it through a positive manner through like a social event. So I feel like it was just a really nice, positive weekend. I've definitely learnt some things. I watched Dr. Neil Barnard as well. That was a really good talk, and Simon Amstel, and that was good as well. So, yeah, I feel like coming away from it after watching Dominion and listening about the Liberation Pledge, and I feel like they're the 2 most important things I've learnt from this weekend about. I feel kind of like I have like new energy to carry on, sort of thing. And I'm really looking forward to next weekend. It is the Animal Rights March in London, so organised by Surge. So you definitely should be there if you're vegan and activist. It was the first form of activism I ever did, and it's what got me into becoming an animal rights activist, was going to that and listening to Earthling Ed's talk afterwards. So you should definitely come along to it. So, but yeah, you can find that on Facebook. It's the Surge Animal Rights March, and it's in London. I hope I haven't waffled on too much. And if you went to Campout, I hope you had a really good time. And I'd love to hear your like stories and opinions of the talks and the things that you went there for, and whether it's changed your perspective on anything. Perhaps you were a non-vegan and you're going vegan. Perhaps you were a veggie and you're going vegan. Perhaps you were a vegan and you're becoming an activist. I'd really love to hear that. So, bye.